end it. And I'll just, over the next 30 minutes, try and tell you what I have done since November 12th when I was inaugurated. But I mustn't fail to thank you again, all of you. Those across the world, those in the diaspora, those, at home, for the turnout, for the prayers, for the goodwill, and for the support which I continue to enjoy from practically all of you. Since we got inaugurated, we've hit the ground running and running real fast. I'll just quickly go through some of the areas we've covered. They may not be exhaustive, but I believe in the question and answer session, you will raise some of them I haven't covered. You recall from my inauguration speech, I did say we're going to focus on some key areas. First, we're going to fix the engine that drives Edo State. And the engine that drives Edo State, like every other government, is the bureaucracy, the public service. If the public service don't work, then all the policies, all the promises cannot be kept and will not happen. And so we've spent several weeks just working with the public service. Before inauguration, we had a transformation project at hand, and some work had started. And what we've done since the 12th of November is accelerate the work. We've put in place a transition team, a team made up of experienced politicians, former civil servants, university professors, activists, about a dozen of them, 24 of them, about 24 of them, to act and serve as part of the transition team. You recall I did ask for a grace period. I said, look, I will not be able to make any political appointments until after February, because I needed a minimum of 90 days to work through the civil service and the public service to put in place systems, processes, procedures on which government will run. And I'm happy we've done so, because over the last several weeks, I've brought all the permanent secretaries and all the staff and all their staff together. I've, commenced an exercise. We've finished what we call a headcount. Every head of a department, agency, or ministry has submitted the number of staff they have and what they do, and they've signed off on them. And, for me, it was quite revealing that in my office, the governor's office, for instance, there were 135 casual workers. Many of them I've never seen. I haven't seen in the last 4 years. I found out, for instance, we had 66 vehicles in the governor's office with 28 drivers. So, it's been revealing, and you can imagine the extent of the spread of what's going on in government. And it's not surprising, because over the years, several decades, over the last several decades, people have just acted in pockets, and government hasn't, not been able to act in unison and with a central control system. We have also, gotten them beyond just understanding and revealing where we are today to put in place what we call a scorecard, to get them to begin to, think, like asking themselves the question, what is our purpose? Why are we here? In this ministry, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to achieve? How am I organized? What should be my key performance indicators? Just like you do in the private sector, we're introducing that. And, it's been quite interesting because initially there was resistance, initially there was apathy, but I did reassure them that this was not an exercise to throw anybody out of work, but an exercise to get people to just deliver value, because we're already paying them, and the least we expect is that they deliver value. So that's working, and I'm very pleased with the progress we've made. Some of them are very, very intelligent people, and so I'm not surprised as to how quickly they're picking up. We have also, in the process, even before now, understood the vacancies that exist in the civil service. For instance, like I said, you have people who have been working as casual workers over the last 8 years. If they have work to do in government and they are doing the work, why continue to make them casuals? Why not, employ them properly? And there's quite a lot of vacancies, but we declared about 1,400 of them. And the emphasis was to employ or fill those vacancies that are mostly technical, engineers, technical people, technology people, and people in the medical area, for instance, in the Ministry of Environment, we barely had any environmental engineer in a ministry that's so important and significant as such. So those vacancies have been declared. They're all over the internet, and we put them in the papers, and we hope to commence actual recruitment first very early in the new year. We've also been working with the consultants to move the whole operations of government into an e-platform. And we expect that we'll launch what we call e-government, electronic government or electronic government before the end of the first quarter next year. Work has advanced. We are piloting with 2 agencies at this point in time. Just checking in this morning, I was quite pleased with the amount of work that they have done. One area that we've worked on since we got on it has been security. As you know, security has been a major issue for us in Nigeria. Following on the NSAS demonstrations, the security apparatus in Nigeria was put to test and was really, really stretched. You are all witnesses to what happened. How the police stations were burned, how in Edo in particular, unlike any other state in Nigeria, gangs, they were arranged and went in and broke the 2 jails in Benin, and such that we have about 2,000 inmates, hurting the state and the country. But we haven't been, we haven't been despondent. Taking the issue of security in our hands, and we have done quite a lot. I may not be able to reveal all we've done because of the nature of security, but I want to assure you that one fundamental change, one shift that has occurred is that we have on our own now stopped to think about security just as a national matter and to leave security only in the hands of federal security agencies. We are domesticating our security because security is local. And I want to thank some of you who have advised, who sent notes, and that, following your advice, we have now begun to engage our people in securing our communities and the state. If you understand clearly 2 items, well, maybe 2 major items that have never been part of the state's governance structure have been electricity and security, because these have been on the exclusive list forever, the last 4-5 decades. The state governments have not developed the capacity to even organize and deal with the issue of security. Somewhat electricity. And the electricity is so bad because even after privatizing electricity, people still don't realize that it's not in private hands. They still think it's under federal or state control because the states have no mechanisms to even control the supply and distribution of electricity. The same thing goes with security. So what we've done for the first time is to create a department for public safety in my office. So as the chief security officer of the state, I will now have the overview of not only what the federal security agencies are doing, but what's going on security-wise in every community in my state, in Edo State, whether through the vigilantes or the community policing arrangement which the federal government has put together with us. This office will coordinate the deployment of community policemen. By the way, I went to the passing out parade of 860 of them about 2 weeks ago. I ordered that they be given an extended training this last week in intelligence gathering with the Department of State Security. That's been done. It will be concluded next week because they're doing that in batches. We've increased the amount of money we set aside monthly from our allocations for security. And so we have put in more resources into that. All the local governments have been working with the various vigilante groups in the various communities and talking to community leads, and we're getting information and data to understand what is going on. We've also set up our command and control center. I mean, we had one call center which we used for COVID. I've upgraded it into a command and control center such that citizens can now call in, inform us on any incidents or any crimes being committed, and we organized the response to respond to those calls. We're also doing work with these federal security agencies in terms of locating their presence in hotspots. And we're finalizing the documents to relaunch this security trust fund. That is important because that is where I believe the citizens of Edo can help us with security. This is a transparent structure where we contribute, and we'll expect Edo citizens and institutions to contribute so that we can support all the efforts in security. Security is very, very expensive. We are working to try and get various technologies. We're working to put cameras on the streets. We're working to give sustenance to our men on beat. We need to send them rations. We need to give them stipends to encourage them. All of that is very expensive, and we will be coming to you to all contribute to helping us make Edo a secure place. But be rest assured, with the plans we've put in place, you may not see it because we're not making noise about it, but I'm very confident that the results will begin to show. One area we have worked very hard on since November 12th is the healthcare area. I mean, you see, COVID-2 is here again. I mean, the second wave is here, and I'm very concerned. I'm going to be making statements in the next few days because we are seeing infection rates increasing at an alarming rate. And, it's getting really, really scary, and we have to do something. We cannot afford to continue to be reckless, but that is not the issue for this evening. I will be making a broadcast in the next couple of days on that. But we've continued with the redesign of our healthcare system. And the basic thinking, like I told you during the electioneering, is that you've got to separate the issue of government as a regulator of the healthcare sector and government as a provider of healthcare services. The fact that government is a provider does not mean government should not be regulated. And if the same person, the same set of institutions are doing both, you will not have effectiveness. So that is part of the work we're doing in the transformation team. And it's going very, very well. We're talking to partners, particularly in the private sector, to see how they can work with us, how they can co-invest with us in the healthcare system. We have just concluded arrangements, and a contract will be awarded for the expansion of the Benin Specialist Hospital, and work will start in January on the Stella Obasanjo Hospital. We used it. Unfortunately, there may be a delay there because that's our we converted it into an isolation center, and with COVID-2, we may not be able to work as fast, but we will see what we can do because we are building two sets of blocks, the existing one and a new one. We may start with a new one until we are able to vacate the isolation center from the old one. But that's working. Why I'm pleased is that I don't know if I told you during the campaigning that we found that about 30 or 40 years ago, the whole idea of a medical complex, a medical city, had been incubated in Edo, and work had actually started. So from Stella Obasanjo, from the Country Home Road to the Stella Obasanjo Hospital Road, there's a 30-acre piece of land, where, the nursing school was built, a nursing hostel was being built and abandoned. There were pillars that have been put in, but I've gone back and I'm, rebuilding that whole medical complex, starting with the Stella Obasanjo Hospital, the nursing school. The contractors have mobilized, and they, after the holidays, they'll commence construction. The supporting infrastructure, like the nurses hostel, that is being redesign. It's a 288-bedroom hostel, and we're going to rebuild and complete that before August, before the school opens. And we have a team, a project team that's working on accreditation process, both for the nursing school and the School of Midwifery. I'm very pleased with the project. I sit on top of those meetings, so it's not something that's delegated to anyone else. We've also done quite a bit of work on infrastructure. As usual, at this time of the year, we call the contractors, all our contractors, and I get them to go and patch the areas that we have that have been eroded as a result of the rainfall. That work is starting. Unfortunately, the rains have just refused to go. It's still raining in Benin. It rained about a couple of days ago. I mean, rains in December. Tells you that climate change is real. But they're working, they have their mandates. Once they get dry spells, they'll patch those roads. And we continue to accelerate work on major projects, the Kenwa Road, I think it's called Textile Mill Road. We've asked the contractors to go and start on 19th Street. We have in the Edo North, I think there are 2 projects, the Era Road, I've told the contractor to go out and start. In Central, we have a standby contractor who we've told to continue working. So in the area of infrastructure, road infrastructure, we're pleased. We already know what to do. It's not a problem. We're going to be funding our C4 Plus that intervenes in roads within the city. We've called the contractors to put them ready, and they should start work very early in the new year. We switched on the Osiomo power plant, the 55 megawatts, ready, good to go. The substation and pump house has been switched on, so the box C and D in the secretariat and the pump house complex, the secretariat complex, the new high court have been connected, and connection is ongoing. Before the end of the year, most of the government buildings will have been connected. The contractors who are going to be doing the street lights, the contracts have been finalized, and they should commence the process of rewiring the street lights in the areas where we have existing ones and putting new poles in the areas with new ones. We have, like I told you, we have a contract to build 40 kilometers of street lights around Benin. We're also looking at about 5 or 7.5 kilometers for solar light street lights in Auchi, and I think I can't recall the distance in Ekoma. But those are going to, work is started on them, and you'll be seeing this lights come up in the next few weeks. The Benin River Port, or Gili Gili Port, as some people choose to call it, it's going to be the Benin River Port. Work has started. We are finalizing the appointment of the transaction advisor. We have secured an office for them, and we are at the federal level. The conversations with the Federal Ministry of Finance and for some financing, and that's going well. And like I said, a lot of work is being done. By the middle of next year, it will be clear how the funding will be sourced and when construction will start. We have signed up and started the process of setting up a technology park in Edo State. Signed up an MOU with Decagon. Decagon is a very interesting company that's doing a lot of work in the technology space, where they train young men, women to do work, to program, because they get the work from all over the world, and they have young men and women who they train extensively and rigorously to code and and do the work. They have been successful in Lagos, and they've been thinking of where to locate to have a park, where you can have the accommodation, the what's it called, technology hubs, the centers, the technical centers where you have, I can't remember the word now. And we were able to convince them, got them to come attend my inauguration, and they were quite pleased with what they saw on ground, the availability of fiber, the availability of electricity, and we signed on, and as I speak, they're in the process of hiring the first 200 out of the expected 15,000 over the next 5 years. That should be completed in January, and we already have work for them because, because we, like I said, we're moving our public service into an electronic platform, and we've actually contracted that work out to some of these people who are going to be trained. Well, let me stop there for now. I've done about 15, 20 minutes, which I expected. If there are more questions, I will take. But to just close, I want to just inform you that it's difficult. It's a very, very difficult time for the world and also for us in Nigeria. Like we had always said, COVID is unraveling us as a country. All the things we ought to have done that we didn't do, it's now catching up with us. And there will be no quick fixes. There will, nobody, I don't see the capacity in government at the federal level to undertake the changes we want to at the rate and speed we have to. The key is getting all of us, particularly those who are outside of government, to take an interest and see how they can bring resources to bear so that we have enough firepower across the spectrum to do what we need to do. I sit down and say, look, guys, this whole attitude of, why can't government, who is government? Government is all of us. Government does not even have the capacity. We must join government to build the capacity to work for us. People don't pay taxes because government doesn't have the capacity or credibility to even collect its taxes. We're building that. And if we don't pay taxes, where will we get the money to do the things that's expected of us? Where will we get the resources to provide security? So in this series of town hall meetings, which we're starting today, I expect that we will have an engagement. I will provide leadership. I don't have all the resources. The resources are with you. And in the process of engaging, we should be able to unlock the resources we require to just move Edo forward so that we can make Edo great again. Is it going to happen? Yes, it will. Why? Because I have you. On that note, I want to welcome you and thank you very much.
Yes, I unmuted myself.
Go ahead, sir.
First, I must thank His Excellency, our distinguished and amiable governor, Dr. Knadu. I would like to call him, what is the popular balance now on everybody's lips? The wait and see governor. After that, very eloquent explanation of what the task is and how you are tackling them. We are very, very convinced that the next 4 years is going to be 4 years of bliss. So on that note, first I want to say, Your Excellency, Uwesi, Obulu, Naigbea, Mo, Ese, Ukaragbe. As I'm sure I've spoken all the languages of Edo, but we want to say thank you, Your Excellency, for that message of hope. Yes, we have very many people who are waiting, and I'd like to call them. It's a long list, especially hands that have been up. We have Austin Iduonyi, Monday Agawa, Mayor Uchenna, Gladys Williams, Murphy Osaibovo, Aigbekan, Gabriel Igile, Dennis Era, Asemuta Agbonlahonu, Sa Obayagbona, Obasui Fred, Osaze Obaseki Osemigi, Arimi Esoni, Dr. Charles Egbon, Aibuedefe Evans, Dr. Moses Amadasun, Festus Iduonyi, Osas, Chifi E. Samson Ezoba, Iyayi Osagi, Darlington Okpewolo.
Okay, Moses, sorry, I may have to interject there. I think what I meant was for you to read out the names of the two random selected names to ask their questions, actually. And I'm sure if you check the back room, I'm sure the back room have, sorted that out. And of course, you have some names that have been sent to you to read out.
Yes. One, I have Idemudia Ada. That's the first one here.
Okay.
So can we
unmute Idemudia Ada, please? And go ahead, Loretta, please.
I think Idemudia Ada has left the house. I think the person whose hand was up is Dennis Era. Dennis Era.
Yeah, I'm here.
You want to take your question?
Yeah, thank you so much. I first of all want to appreciate the governor for his mature role in the state and for the past elections and how he was able to handle it. But in terms of security, that's where I want to come in. So many of us in diaspora, I'm in the US, for instance, and so many of us in diaspora have issues with security. That's why we are afraid for coming around to invest. I have so many friends here who are willing to invest in the state, but the insecurity in the state is so much that you're even afraid to come around for visit or anything. You're even afraid to come around and you don't know what is going to happen when you come to the state. And the stories we've been hearing in recent times is so alarming. I learned that I heard over the news that this morning somebody in his cabinet was kidnapped. Those are situations that are so scary for us over here. That's why we are afraid to invest. So I want the governor to throw more light on security in the state.
Thank you very much. Before the governor comes on, please, we'll take another name and just combine them so that the governor can respond to two questions together. Please, can we take another name, please?
The other name whose hands up is Sonny Aimie. Akimie, Sonny.
Please, if we have Sonny Akimie in the house, please can we unmute him, please? And I want to please enjoin everyone to mute themselves if they are not talking, please, so we can reduce the noise.
Sonny, you can unmute yourself and speak.
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so please, I want to first of all appreciate Mr. Governor Obaseki for the work he's doing in Edo State. Then, secondly, let me go straight to the point. So, because that is the reason why I am here. From what he has said before, the issue of security is not the work of the governor alone. It's something we in diaspora more have to support him immensely to make sure.
Uncle Sonny, I'm sorry to interject. To be very honest, the governor is going to respond to the question. And okay. You've got 90 seconds to ask your own question. And 30 seconds is already gone. Go ahead with your question, sir.
Okay. My question is, when Edo State is going to set their security network, when? Because I've seen other states setting their security networks. When Edo State is going to implement their security network, that is my major concern in that state. All other things will fall in place. Thank you. That is my straight question.
Thank you very much, sir. Your Excellency, please.
Thank you very much. And can I just also suggest, because I'm looking at the chat room also, so I'll be able to take a lot more questions by just responding to the chats that are coming on as I see them, while also taking questions from the audience. Back to security. Like I said, let's understand the issue of security. Nobody can secure us better than we can secure ourselves. Security has to be everybody's responsibility. The challenge we have had with security is that even though I am the chief security officer of the state, I have no capacity. The police is not under me. They've just promoted my commissioner of police. I don't know who is coming in next. I don't know his training. So even if I said, go and do it, then even if he comes, he's not funded. I have to buy, patrol vehicles. I have to buy petrol for them. I have to, everything is dependent on us. But that's not saying giving up. I say we're trying to change that. To say, okay, how do we support what we have now? How do we organize ourselves from the streets to the community, to the local government, to the states, and then federal? That's what security should be about. What we've had in the past, it was just federal, down, top down. That has to change, and that is changing, and that's what we're changing. That's fundamental. I don't want to follow that path of sloganeering. I'll rather do the work, because you will feel security when it's there. Making names, creating nomenclatures, and there's grandstanding does not really provide the security. May not. Its security the heart of security is intelligence. Being able to gather information, know what's going on, because these people who perpetrate the crime, they're not spirits. And then having the capacity to respond, and respond in a structured, coherent manner. That's what we're building. It's not something you can just sloganeer about and shout about, and then just do a few moves and then come down and then it comes back. No, moving forward, what we are building is robust because it's based on the people. Because there's nothing that happens that somebody does not see or know about. The issue in the past, will the person speak up? Does the person trust that the information he will give will be dealt with confidentially? Those are the little things that you don't, that you may not appreciate, once you're the outside, looking in from outside. But I can assure you that with what we have done to date, yes, at least we know what's going on and we know what to do. Just with a little bit of resources, you will see, even with the little we have, you'll see what we're going to be doing over this holiday period.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, sir.
So quickly, I've seen a question on abandoned projects, what we're doing, we should finish abandoned projects before we start new ones. I don't have any abandoned projects in Edo State. That is, what I mean is that there's nothing we've started as a government since I came in 4 years ago that you can call abandoned. We have visibility of all our projects and we have plans to complete everything we have started. But we are also in the process of, development doesn't stop, creating new ones. Because when we went around the 192 wards during the electioneering, people told us what they needed, what their priorities were. I have all that list. I'm not going to fold my arms and say, okay, I don't start until I finish all the ones that I'm executing today. School of Agriculture, it's another project I'm working on. I was in Igoraki myself last week, Friday, a week today, to see the progress of work. This week, I've had 2 meetings with the contractors and all the professor who is helping us with accreditation and their teams. So work is going on, and by September, that school will be open. We have support from Kumu Presco, the private sector, in rebuilding that school. The problem people have is they expect us to do things the way they've always done it. We will not, because it didn't work before. And they say the definition of an insane person is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So all those people who expect that we'll build the schools the way it used to be, we will not. We want to build schools that would give real jobs, that we want to build schools that are not for the benefit of the managers of the schools, but for the benefit of the students and the community at large. I saw a post on Edo Health Insurance and that there was nepotism in the hiring. That is absolutely wrong. I got the text from you, right? And I investigated, and it is wrong. And I want to implore us, let us stop this. The fact that you haven't gotten something does not mean that the process was faulted. It was so transparent, and I'm prepared to show, I put all the documents in sorry, whoever you expected should get a job there that didn't get it, it's not because the process was manipulated. There was no nepotism. Exams were done, it was transparently done, The right people were shortlisted and they were selected. So if the person or people you expect to be said were not, it doesn't mean that the process was wrong. And they've been undergoing training in the last few weeks. I know that because I promised January 1 that we will start collecting premiums for that service. Ojerami Dam, yes, it's one of the things I need to do. It's one of the promises we made. We need to sit and work through it. I can't do everything in day one. Cultism is a core part of, one of the underlying factors of urban crimes, particularly in, some parts of the metropolis. And here again, it's all about intelligence. It's all about organizing yourself to respond. We have the laws against cultism, and from what we are doing, we are penetrating those cult groups, and we will be able to handle them. Yes, Edo, I realize that the Shekiris are part of Edo, by the way. I just got in from Wari, and one of the things I did was an Shekiri event. So we understand that you're part. Edo is very cosmopolitan. We accept we accept everybody as long as you have something to contribute to Edo. We don't discriminate. Our government will not discriminate whether you're a Jaw, you're a Shekiri, you're a Yoruba, you are Igbo speaking. You are, as long as you live in Edo and you're a resident of Edo, I treat everybody the same. Physically challenged people, yes, it's something that I am very, 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 very interested in. I am working, in fact, 2 weeks ago, I called the Permanent Secretary for Education to go and meet with somebody who is an expert in education of physically challenged people, and we're putting money. Fortunately, we also have some money from UBEC, and we'll add our own money to build the school for disadvantaged people. So I said I did not mention Okwila. I will, I can't mention everything. I'm going to, yes, the issues in Okwila are within my radar. This holiday season, I'm talking to all the parties to try and appeal to many of them to move their cases out of court so that we can settle peacefully and get the new king appointed, or appointed properly. I hear there's activities of disbanded CDA this is just Abudu, in some area with elders in the community. I am going to strengthen, I'm actually going through the nomination process for people who will head, the Committee on Protection of Private Property. That law says that anybody caught, undertaking CDA functions, selling other people's plots, will go to jail for 10 years. I'm strengthening that. I'm going to get a special court, and anybody who, steals other people's land or government land will face the law. So let's go back to you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. In the spirit of the chats, because you've really gone into them, there were some that came in just before you arrived, and one of them, in the spirit of talking about some disability, is someone asking, Obeyo Dige was asking about persons living with albinism in Edo State. Are you doing anything about making sunscreens available to them, either in the local hospitals or proper healthcare facilities?
Yes, in the past, we have helped. You've given them resources for creams, for sunscreens, and I haven't received any requests recently, but when I do, I will oblige them.
And then Clement Igbineki has asked a question more about security, which I think you have tackled. He must have gotten his answer by now. Bright Army, who is telling us that instead of paying money to India's Lebanese and Chinese, are you looking to explore the Edo diaspora for specialist and professional capabilities? And it's a similar question to Eddie Osage, who has said that in Western nations, chambers of commerce are powerful institutions of business and commerce, and they are used to attract foreign and local investors. How is the Edo State Chamber of Commerce doing, and what is happening and what's functional there? So I will let you take these and then we'll come go back to call some Zoom hands.
Yes, we are working, well, put it this way, we are a government that just wants value. Whatever I can source locally, I will use locally. And we don't go outside to begin to look for, people to do work if we can find them locally. And, for us, we just want the best. It's not my money, it's the taxpayers' money. So if I'm going to spend it, I should spend it the way I would spend my own to try and get value for it. So once we find people who are local, and by the way, we don't go out, the Chinese, Lebanese people, they come here to look for work, and and when they show us their quality, they show us what they can offer, we give to them. At the end of the day, what is important for me is providing services at the right cost. Whether it is a local, I would like locals too. I would like to make sure that my people get the work so that most of the money stays back here. And we're doing that by encouraging even those we give work to make sure that they hire locals and train locals to the extent that they can. And so I'm sure for those of you who live abroad and who do businesses, you get work, you get contract, you get work from your county, from the boroughs, your counties, from the local government, and you may not be origins of the place. I'm sure you get the work because they think and they see that you're going to add value. Chambers of Commerce, yes, we work with them, we cooperate with them, and I spend time and sessions with them, and they are involved in the thinking and what we are doing at home.
Thank you very much.
Yes. So someone says, Excellency, what are your plans on the new appointments? Like I said, I am not going to make any appointments until we have tuned the engine of government. Government must work first. And I want to know, is it, these are new appointments as what? As civil servants, public servants? If so, apply. You want appointments as a politician, then your constituency will throw up your name and we'll decide, we will look at it. But even as a political appointee, it has to be clear on what you have in government to do, and your role, so that there are no conflicts. We cannot continue to run the civil service with political appointees. There is a political track and there's a career civil service track. We need to make that separation and deepen it. Somebody talked about the museum that, Bodari, wanted to take your kids to the museum at Ring Road. Unfortunately, the place was a mega bear parlor. Yes, what we're going to do is, like I said, we're trying to build a new museum that's going to be a lot more, what a museum looks like. We just have this penchant because there are no outdoors, there are no parks, and wherever people see free space, particularly at this time of the year, they want to, use it. And I think that's how the issue of using that place as a bear parlor came up. Well, an entertainment thing. We will look at it, but I am very careful not to displace people economically. If we're going to, then we're going to create alternatives for them. So in terms of the contractors are returning, like I said, to Textile Mill Roads and 7 West Circular. They have resumed and they started work this last week. We asked, what is my plan for medical tourism and the healthcare sector? I think that Edo is a natural hub. People will pass through. Can we bring them in here to get treatment? Yes. Do we have such plans? Yes, we do. How are we doing it? By, like I said, restructuring the healthcare system and getting people to know that healthcare is not equal to hospitals. That is a system. That we have the advantage of having over 1,000, almost 2,000 doctors in Edo. Many of them are in federal institutions, and private practice, and state institutions. When we create a system where all of them can be put to use, they can, it wouldn't really matter. because everybody who goes to receive treatment has health insurance, can pay, or has the ability to pay, and therefore it will be clear that the healthcare system can be properly funded. Those are all the things we're doing to make sure that Edo becomes a tourism hub, in addition to us having electricity to power our hospitals. Yes.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. We'll go back to the Zoom hands that are up as well. I think Uncle Sonny Rabo, you have some people whose hands you say have been up. You are unmuted, sir. Yeah,
okay, thank you. I have two names. Let me just quickly get the names. First one is Uncle Greg Ogbefun. I think he has something to say, and especially it sounds more like an answer, but maybe it's also a question. Uncle Greg Ogbefun, sir. If you unmute him.
Good evening, everybody. I don't have a question. I was invited to make a comment on the proposed port in Edo State, which His Excellency has as one of his legacy projects. I want to thank the organizers of this program because it's a very apt platform for enlightening people, particularly those who are not at home. The port project has been in the radar of past administrations for some time, but it has taken His Excellency Gov Obaseki to actually take practical steps to bring it into realization. He started by setting up a technical committee, which I was privileged to be part of, to carry out a viability study of building the Gele port. We spent about 7-8 months doing our study and our work. In the end, some of the summaries was the fact that the port in the original Gele, as we all know historically, will not be commercially and even technically viable. So it became necessary to relocate the port nearer the Benin River, about 49 nautical miles from the Atlantic Ocean. So that's what we're working on. In terms of accomplishments, the immediate past committee that worked on the project has gotten to a point where they were able to identify the preferred transaction advisor. It's an international company with headquarters in Canada and in consortium with another company in Holland. So we are engaging them now in negotiations and finalization. So by the first week in January, it's expected that an agreement will be signed with the transaction advisors, whose job is to work with us from inception to actual commissioning. And this is expected to take about 24 to 30 months. Amongst the things they'll be doing with us is to obviously review all the legacy work that has been done by different people in the past, come up with an apt design of a port that meets the state's needs. You know, as it is now, Edo State is landlocked. So the moment we're able to open up the state to the sea and global trade, then the fortunes of our economy definitely is going to turn around. So we're working very hard to see how we can get this team off as early as possible in the new year. Now, amongst the things they're going to be doing will be to competitively identify the engineering, procurement, and construction company that will carry out the actual construction. And that is going to be done through a competitive bid. And more importantly, the transaction advisor also have shown competence and capability and track record of being able to structure the funding as well as source the debt and equity to fund that project, with the state contributing a minimal equity. So we are hopeful that with the pace at which we are going, we should be able to get this accomplished in the course of the governor's second term. So Edo should remain very hopeful that the Benin City River Port is going to be a reality in the course of the governor's term. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. As Uncle Sonny Rabo, do you still have a name to call? I'm sure you do. If it's muted, can we unmute him, please?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I hope this accident will not keep happening to Sonny Rabo. I have Mr. Israel Wekbe, who's next. Please, you have your 90 seconds. Go ahead.
Your Excellency, I'm really very, very excited to be in this forum. My question is, goes like this. The creative economy is substantially powered by young people. But critical to this sector is the need for capacity building to enable the acquisition of skills and competencies. I reckon too that there's a correlation between the academia, education, and practical training. Now, might I ask what your administration's position is in this regard, taking into consideration really the seeming lack of clarity presently? I say this with every sense of seriousness and responsibility, because when we talk about cultism and all of that, you know, young persons need to be engaged as it were. So in this area of creative economy, education, capacity building, and skills and competencies, what's the administration's position in this regard? Thank you.
Thank you very, very, very much for a very good question. Let me just make this general observation that as a government, we have come to the realization that the real issue with us is not the lack of ideas. There's nothing new that has not been said or discussed in the past. What is lacking is the capacity to execute whatever you've decided on, to just make it happen. And that's the standpoint from which we want to engage, to say, yes, what about this? How can it work? How can you make it happen? And we're saying in doing so, it has to be a mutual responsibility. It cannot be government alone. It's, both the, government is just a catalyst. Will create the enabling environment to make it happen. The thinking and perhaps the initial groundwork. That's our role. In the area of the creatives, it's one area we know is innate. It's just natural to us. It's natural to Edo people are very, very innovative and creative people. So for us as government, how do we support? It's to create the enabling environment for people to be able to do what they know how to do best, but in a creative space. What do you need? You need, like you say, capacity building. So we're working with the German government, the GIZ, who just gave, I think, about in excess of $500,000, and we had to match it with our own funds. And the Observer premises, as we speak, I just connected it to Osiomo Power. And we, just like we have in the production hub, we're creating, we're building a hub for the innovatives. So you have 24/7 electricity, you have spaces where people can come in with their finishing equipment, to finish music, whether it's the films, whatever it is, that premises is being made ready as we speak. I went to inspect it about 2 weeks ago, and I hope that before the end of the first quarter next year, you will have studios, you will have cameras, you will have mixers, you will have all the things that you need to finish. And hopefully classes will be run, and things and instructions will be given, and training will be given to people who are already in that industry or aspiring to be. I like the idea of a business Zoom meeting, and I think it's something, Lamte, we should put together so that, yes, beyond this sort of general meetings, we want to sit and I say, look, these are the opportunities I'm looking for investment in these areas, very, very specific. In the healthcare area, and we want to partner with people to build new mortuaries. I want to do this. This is the cash flow we expect. You know, I want to be able to do specific, you know, transactional meetings via Zoom. I hope we can organize this maybe quarterly. Somebody asked about the plans for children. I think for us as a government, it's all about the, you know, about them, the next generation. And that's why we're investing so much in education. I mean, the biggest gifts you can give to a child, the greatest gift is education, very good quality education. And we're investing in our school systems. I want to use this opportunity to thank the chairman of SUBEB, one of you, John Oviawe. The amount of work that they're doing for these children is just unbelievable. God will continue to reward you. So the person who's been asking me to talk about the plans, it's about them, it's about their health care, it's about health, it's about their training, it's about their protection. So that's a lot of people have put questions about roads. You know, what I want to tell you is that I went through all the 192 wards in Edo State. So there is no community, there's no local government, no community, no ward. I do not know what the road request is. I have them. It's a pile. So we will not be able to deal with all of them, but the important thing is to plan for them. Deal with the ones you can deal with now and have a plan for those you are not able to cover. So what we've done is we've just finished the process of hiring a team, an international team, to come and help us with our regional and urban plan. That is what I am concluding now. And that is another legacy we must leave for Edo. We will not be able to build all the roads. However, we should be able to tell you when your road will be built. Given the resources we have, we expect to earn, and you know, and the priorities that we have as a state. So I've heard all of you. I've seen all your requests, and I want to tell you they're in, but we're putting them in a planning process. We're going to put the plan, design them, and then see how we can fund them. But realistically, we will not be able to fund all our roads in a 4-year time frame.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Thank you so much. I've got two persons here, Sele Okogo and Roland Omorodion. They have questions. Please, can we unmute them? Sele Okogo should go first. Sele or Kelly? Can we unmute them if they're in the house? Then can we unmute Roland Omorodion, please? If Mr. Okogo is not there.
Roland Omorodion, I'm trying to unmute.
I can't find both. Roland,
I think he's probably left the house.
And Kelly.
Okay,
exactly, and Kelly as well.
Okay,
I
can
can't
move on
find
to
any
the
of them.
next ones.
Okay, please, can we find Alexander Edionwe, please? Alexander Edionwe and Gladys
Alexander
Williams. Let's
Edionwe.
unmute them, please.
Okay, Alexander Edionwe can unmute himself. I think I've just asked him to unmute. He can go ahead. Alex, please. Try to unmute yourself. Speak.
Thank you. Yeah, I can do fine. Thank you. Yes, I really don't have any question, but I would like to introduce myself so you know the angle I'm coming from, Your Excellency. My name is Professor Alexander Edionwe. I'm the President and CEO of ALPHA International Group LLC here in the US, and also we have ALPHA Global Concept Company registered in Nigeria. Our area is we are into food production, and we are ready to assist and contribute our quota in developing agriculture and agribusiness in Edo State, and also generating jobs. With the time limit I have, what I really am interested in is this, is my intention to seek your audience in terms of strategizing how we can customize or tailor agri and agribusiness revitalization initiative that we have for Edo and in Edo State, which we also intend to use as template to use in other parts of Nigeria. I will go in detail with in this area later on if we are able to connect. Also to let you know that we're already present in—
I will have to interject here, sir. With all due respect, I think the points you've made are very salient points, and I want to assure you that we will follow up with you, and you heard the His Excellency said earlier that he will look forward to a time where we shall hold a business Zoom meeting. I'm sure the points you are raising right now will be very relevant at that point. And because of what we are doing right now, which we need to fulfill, as it were, I will want to move to the next person to ask his question. His or her question. Of course, I equally have here Gladys William. Please, can we unmute Gladys William? And
she's unmuted.
We'll follow up on Alexander Dionwe.
Gladys, you can speak. You can unmute yourself, Gladys.
Yeah.
Please be reminded that you have just 90 seconds.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. I would say I'm very pleased to be among every one of you here. And thank you, Your Excellency, for having me here and for having you here too. Your Excellency, I don't have much to say. I just want to say thank you for your acknowledged letter that you sent to every one of us, and those who have received and those who are yet not to receive. We all say thank you. We were overwhelmed to receive such letter from you. It makes us feel blessed. It makes us have more confidence, have more courage to support you more and more and more. And I want to also say thank you for the ongoing project in Edo State and the one on Jet to Do. May God Almighty continue to lead you and strengthen you in good health and wisdom. That is all I have to say, Your Excellency. And congratulations once again. We're there here for you, no shaking.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. I want to quickly call on Dr. Loretta Agboko to quickly call the next group of names to ask their questions, please. Dr. Loretta.
We have with who his hands has been up. Festus Ogbewi. Festus, can he be unmuted, please?
Festus, you can unmute yourself.
Festus Ogbewi, please. And Lucky Asenogwan, please get ready. Your hand has been up.
Excellency.
Festus, you're unmuted. Can you please go on?
Yes, I'm already.
While Lucky Asenogwan gets ready.
Good evening, Your Excellency. I want to use this opportunity once again to congratulate you for your re-election. My names are Festus Ogbewi. I am the convener of Togba movement in Germany. Actually, most of my questions has been answered already by you. And that name that was given to you, Wake and See Governor, is actually playing out. Thank you very much. We do expect a lot from you. And we are believing as well that you will deliver. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Festus. Asenogwan, are we ready with you?
Yes, I'm ready. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lucky Asenogwan. I congratulate you, my Excellency Governor. My question today is that you have already raised the point that old things are passed away. I would like to ask those markets that was burned, if you award it, are they going to put a provision of fire service? Like even though it's not a vehicle, as in they have to put the fire extinguisher on the market and on the police station too. Are those provisions is going to be made for the rebuild of the burnt market and the burnt police station? That is my question.
Excellent. And we have, thank you very much, sir. We have Joseph Ogieho. Can he please take his question in 90 seconds, please?
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, His Excellency Governor Gov Obaseki. Thank you for finding time to come to us this evening. I'll go straight to my question. I was a security officer and I live here in London, and I want to come in terms of the security situation in Edo State. Just as you have rightly said, you as the governor cannot do everything and you need the help of us in diaspora. So I want to come in terms of security, because the way I see the security in Edo State is not working the way it should be. If you will permit me to share my expertise with you or to help build the security apparatus in Edo State, I think I will be very happy, and I will be glad to join you. This is my license, so to prove to you that I am a security officer. So it's being renewed every year, but I stopped renewing it because I'm not using it. So if you want me to come, or if you want me to share my expertise with you, because the way I come home every year, twice a year, but I stopped coming because the security is not working. So I really, if you want it to work, and I'm willing to support you, and I'm willing to help you to make it work. So
Thank you, sir.
So those in diaspora can be happy to come home.
Thank you, sir. I think those all across the world are just like you, wanting to key in. So before His Excellency takes this, I'll just add on 2 charts. One is a very practical one. Edo Dynasty Worldwide, they are saying they sent a representative to this college of, so the technical college yesterday, and that they were told that the places people get to do their practicals, it's outside of the technical college. So Edo Dynasty Worldwide wants to know why this is happening. And they're also asking what is happening at Egualo. There's supposed to be a technical college there, because they believe that upgrading the technical schools is the key to a better and vibrant economy. Then someone is saying, sir, that in order for the government to save money, he saw you at the School of Nursing and he saw you wanting to revamp the place, which is a very good idea. But he's saying that once you revamp the place and you build the hostels, can you please charge the students a fair amount, if not too much, but something, so that at least the government can make some money back to put into some other things still within the nursing school. And this is Nosa Obanov from the US. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. And thank you for all the great questions you've asked. I don't want to keep you much longer, so I'll just attempt to answer all the questions as briefly as I can. I want to start by once again extending my profound appreciation to all of you who've come out to support our administration. Many of you on your own cost flew in to attend the inauguration ceremonies. We really do appreciate and thank you immensely. We had to keep the ceremonies low key because of what is going on, with security and COVID-19. So we apologize that we couldn't have the kind of big splash that people thought was required. But nonetheless, I want to, put it on record that all of you without exception, we're just unbelievable in terms of your response, your prayers, your good wishes, your goodwill. That's the energy, that's the oxygen we need to keep us going. And we will, with God on our side, continue to do our best for our people. Let me just talk about teachers. I'm going to do a mix between the questions asked and the ones I'm seeing in the chat room. Teachers, yes, we are currently hiring teachers. But we call it a fellowship, the teacher fellowship. So we're hiring teachers who will train for 3 years before absorbing them into the Edo State Civil Service. And what we're doing is we're hiring them in their locations, because we noticed that we've been having problems with posting teachers. You'll find some areas where you have excess teachers and many areas you have you don't have enough. So what we've done is we've gone through we've gone through to see where the distribution of teachers, and we down started this project where we will be hiring up to 3,000 teachers, but we will be hiring them in their communities, and particularly where there is shortage. We're battling, to make sure that people do the right things. Yes, you don't have a job, you're in Benin, you want to teach because you're from a particular community. I'm not going to employ you in Benin, except you're in that community and the community leaders endorse and tell us that you really live there. We will not employ you, as a teacher. So we're employing teachers, and the process is on, and hopefully by the beginning of February, we'll announce and we'll begin to pay them. And for agriculture, we have done a lot in agri. So I thank the young man who talked about his interests. Interestingly, we have some Americans. I mean, people who are in the diaspora who live, these ones who are currently farming and partnering with us in the agricultural projects we're currently undertaking in Edo. I have at least 5 of them, and they come in and out, and some of them are doing well. And so we just encourage you to join. We don't want to talk anymore about these things. We just want to do it. If you're ready to come and take the risks, get on a plane, come here, we'll show you the opportunities. And our role is to try and reduce the risk for you. Our government is not a farmer and cannot be a good farmer. So we're not even going to, but we'll create an enabling environment for you to farm. Yes, we're looking at crops. The crops will have a competitive advantage in, like oil palm, cassava, rice. By the way, most of the rice we're consuming this Christmas in Edo State, with government is buying, we're all grown in Edo this season. So I'm happy to tell you we have Edo rice. We would have had more, but for the flooding flooding of some of the farms. But we're going back to encourage people to grow rice this dry season. You talked about the technical schools and the placement of students in technical schools. In fact, we're going through an exercise now where we are trying to geolocate not everybody everybody who has a technical business. The children need to be apprenticed. You can't do everything theoretical in class. So that's why if you are, you are into welding, for instance, fabrication. After you've taken a few classes and been trained, we'll send you outside to a welder's shop or a fabrication yard to go and work. We can't keep you in school and just to give you the theory. That's why it's technical. We want to produce people for the markets. And so that's what's happening. That's why you didn't see those kids. They're all been placed. We'll continue to look for people who can absorb them, whether it's in the technical school, school of agric, school of education. We want to prepare people for work from a very practical standpoint. We're more interested in the outcomes and not in the motions. Yes, for the buckets we're rebuilding, we're putting hydrants. In fact, we've told, even for the existing ones, we're working with the market associations to make sure that they have boreholes, they have water, they have hydrants, and train the security, the people who manage the markets, to be able to respond when there is fire. But you recall that those fires were just not normal accidental fires. They were really arson by who, the lions and the tigers. But thank God we've tamed them, and we hope that we won't have any more such fires. And when we do, we're building capacity to respond. Lastly, someone talked about expertise and water in Eastern land. Well, for water, I'm just happy to announce to you that the waterworks in Iboha has started working. Reticulation to Uromi is ongoing. The meters are being given out, and water has started flowing in the taps in some areas. We will continue to expand. The biggest issue we have with water is electricity. Because if you have to use diesel generators to pump at those water stations, then the costs of delivering the water will be very high. So we're looking at alternative options to try and reduce the cost of pumping water from the pumping stations. I am sure that I have attempted to answer as many questions as possible. If I haven't answered, it's because it's not humanly possible to do answer all of them. But I think the key message is to leave behind that first. As a government, we just want to do. I have less than 4 years left to complete my term. So I don't have the patience and time to be debating and discussing options. The time we have is how to execute on the options we have already decided on. We will not be able to do everything we have, but what we will do, we will leave a plan for the next 30 years on how to do most things. The ones that we can do now, we will, and hopefully we'll start a tradition. We'll be on a trajectory where subsequent people, governors, subsequent administrations have a roadmap. And also we have a system to check them, to force them to work for us. I think what you have done is that you have made history. You've turned you've turned the corner. After the elections of September 19th, it will be very difficult to have another governor or set of governors who will just do what they like in government house and not feel a sense of accountability to the people. Because they got in there by the contributions or support of a few people does not mean they'll go in there and work for just a small clique of people. Look at the number of people who voted for me to become governor. I owe it to them and many more who didn't vote. A victory, a success has been made possible by the majority of people of Edo State. So we must work for the majority of people of Edo State. So if you haven't gotten, don't feel bad. It's not personal. It's not, we should, for me, we sold the idea that we're going to work for our people. We're not going to work for individuals. So I've had the bashing from family, from friends that I haven't helped, but it's part of it. Look at, the oath I swore to. My oath didn't say I must take care of my friends and my family first before taking care of the people of Edo State. By taking care of the people of Edo State, my family and friends will benefit. And that's what it should be. And I want to thank you very much for your continued support and to just assure you that the goodwill, the good wishes, the prayers from you is the oxygen that just keeps us going. And just please don't relent, keep praying for us, keep advising us, keep supporting us. And by the grace of God, we will make Edo great again. I want to wish all of you Merry, Merry Christmas and better 2021. 2020 was awful. As the Queen said, it was annus horribilis. We pray that God Almighty will make 2021 that year of renewal, that year of revival, and that we will have learned the message He sent to us in 2020, that we can and should make His world a better place. Once again, Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2021. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency. Before you go, I think Uncle Sonny wants to bring someone in to also thank you from the angle of your people. So Uncle Sonny, are you there, please? Yes.
Please, can we unmute him, please?
Yes, he's unmuted. Uncle Sonny, please.
Your Excellency, sir, allow me to invite Ambassador Becky Waifu, all the way from Tanzania, who will give the vote of thanks. He's been watching and listening carefully. Ambassador Waifu, please.
Good evening, Your Excellency. My name is Ambassador Matthew Biki Uwaifo from Tanzania. I want to, first of all, very wholeheartedly thank you, Your Excellency, for this kind of community engagement with all people of Edo State and friends of Edo State, including those that didn't vote for you. The fact that you have taken time to address everybody from the low, the good, the bad, and the ugly. This trait in you is what make all of us say that you are the governor of all of us. We are all in this first series of town hall meetings interacting on how to move our state forward together. You are the first governor in Nigeria to have blazed this trail. Please, sir, keep it up. I also want to thank all edolites at home and abroad who are here today participating in this meeting, making a sacrifice of their time, love, and resources. It is a clear indication of how much interest we all have in the continued good governance of our state. The governor has addressed key issues in his talk today, and persons have asked addressed areas of core concerns. We have brainstormed together for close to over 2 hours now. It is clear we have a rebirth in Edo State. There is a new order, which is the envy of other states in Nigeria, and in fact, the African continent. I can clearly confirm that to you, sir. However, I want to use this medium to reassure all of us that the court cases are warranted storms in teacups initiated to cause distractions to positive governance and the type of rebirth which Edo State require right now and has never had before. So let us all not fall into the trap of losing the mega vision. We must stick together to help this government. The governor cannot do it alone. That is very clear because of the gargantuan task in front of him. This is the time for men and women of goodwill in Edo State to stand up and think of what they can do for Edo State, not what Edo State can do for them. And it is also time, like the governor just pointed out, to know that, please, this is not time for over-bloated sense of entitlement. Let us work with genuine love for our state. If along the way you are remembered, fine. If along the way others are remembered, please let us not stop the support, because we cannot all be commissioners. We cannot all be spokesmen for the government. We cannot all be directors. Finally, I just want to say that I enjoin all Edolites and friends of Edo State to be on the lookout so that together we can all defend the mandate we have given to Governor Godwin Obaseki for a second term. We will not stand aside and watch compromised judicial officers truncate the collective will of the Edo people. Together, we will defend our mandate. And I want to say here, sir, and to all Edolites everywhere, we are quite aware that certain people have said they have the judiciary in their pocket. And having dealings with judiciary every day, I know that this is there. So I'm calling on all Edolites, please let us defend the mandate we have given to the governor. Let us make sure that as we stood as one during the elections, we continue. We should not be weary until we achieve our purpose, which is to take Edo State to the next level. Thank you all for being participants here, and thank you, Your Excellency, for giving us the honor to host you. And I wish to say Merry Christmas to everybody. Your Excellency, please tell our First Lady Merry Christmas. God bless everyone on this platform today and those that could not be here. God bless Edo State. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you very, very much.